Good morning, useful content community. And this today we're going to talk about something that is really very important. We've always been told in recent time that people have shorter attention spans, and as a result, we should be making shorter videos. And I think that that's not perfectly accurate. And today we're going to explore why we should why we should do differently and the ways in which we can create videos that actually debunk that myth. And so let's take a look at that this morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the show. The reason I'm doing a show live this morning is quite unusual, is because my editing software has kind of gone crazy, and I really wanted to do something this morning, put out a video. So while they're, of course, fixing it at Descript, hopefully this can fill the gap. All right, let's jump into the content of the day. Let's talk about the short attention span myth. The short attention span myth. So I'm sure all of us have heard over and over again that people have short attention spans, and that in order to fix that, there's some things that you should do, something you should really do. I just want to say this morning that short attention spans is not the problem that you're solving. Short attention spans is not the problem that you're solving when you create your videos. And the reason for that is because most of the time, it is not really about the people. It's about you. It is not the people looking at the video, but it's about the way in which you create the video. And your video has to have some components inside of it that make people want to watch it, that make people want to stick with it, that grabs the attention of people. And we're not going to go deep into the structure of a video today, but what I'm going to do is kind of do some top level breakdown of some things that are very important to consider when you are creating a video, so that you don't have to think about this short attention span stuff, which in my mind is not as a big issue as people make it out to be. And I'll explain why. So the first thing that you need to understand is that you need to have a clear, concise message when you're creating your videos. You need to have a clear, concise message when you are creating your videos. If your message isn't clear, it's not concise, it's very difficult to hold someone's attention. People need to know what you're talking about from the jump, from the get-go. They need to understand why they're here, why they should stay. And there are many ways in which you can do that. Of course, the structure of a regular video is very important, but today we're going to look more about the psychology of why people will not want to watch it, and whether or not you can grab the attention in different ways. Excuse me. And the thing that you have to consider is that some things are more important to people than other things. That is like the base thing you need to remember, that some things are more important to people than other things. And let me explain how that actually works, right? So for example, some things are more important to people than other things, and some things are more relevant to people than other things. So some things carry greater value, and there are some things that are more relevant, which means some things are more time sensitive. So some things carry greater value, and some things are more time sensitive to people. Let me kind of explain how that works. So for example, if you have a leaky faucet, the action you will take is to call a plumber, right? Or alternatively, you could let it leak. Right now I have a leaky faucet, and I keep on turning the faucet tighter and tighter and tighter, and it's just dripping just slightly, but it's not a massive problem. And so I keep on kind of delaying it. It's not something that is critical to me. It does not have my attention. However, if the main water line in your house bursts, then you need a plumber now. So you move from needing a plumber to needing a plumber now. And that's the difference between you just kind of like wanting to get the attention, or somebody kind of looking over something and saying, oh, this might be interesting to, like, this is so important to me. Let me give another example. If there's a cat stuck in a tree it's quite possible that you could call a firefighter. It's quite possible that you could call a firefighter if a cat is stuck in a tree. Now, I know that is a kind of a movie trope, it's a kind of a cartoon trope, but that is a thing that people could think of. If there's a cat stuck in a tree, then you can call a firefighter. The firefighter will go up and they'll grab the cat out, they'll rescue the cat, everybody will be happy. However, if someone's house is on fire, you call a firefighter? No. If someone's house is on fire, you call a firefighter? No. And that's the difference between something that is of passing interest and something that grabs your attention, right? Let's look at one more. If you want to learn how to make videos, you can call a video expert. So you might have an interest in making videos for yourself. You might have an interest in creating content, and that might be something that might be interesting to you. But you may not have a particular purpose attached to creating that content. It may not be for your business. It may not be because you're making money off of it. It may just be something that you're interested in. Or even if it is something that you are putting inside of your business, it may not be critical to the type of money you have to make. But then there comes a time, if your competition is taking your customers because they use video effectively and you don't, you need a video expert now. You need a video expert now. And that is the difference between this kind of passing interest that people are talking about, that people are describing as short attention spans, and capturing your attention, which is what you really need to do with your videos. So if someone is not interested in your content in the first place, it's highly unlikely that they will pay attention to it. Remember, you're not speaking to everyone. You're speaking to a very specific group of people when you're creating content for your business. Everyone does not have to look at your videos. Everyone does not have to consume your content. You want the people who are ready to learn more about you. You build awareness. They're ready to learn more about you. They're ready to get into a relationship of trust with you, and eventually they'll be ready to buy. Some of them may have a problem that's immediate and they want to buy, or some of them may have a problem that they can see is coming up in the future, but it may not be a pressing problem. They may just have a leaky faucet. They may not have a burst water main type of thing. And the thing is that there's no way that you actually don't want to as well. There's no way you want to convince somebody who's not interested in what you are selling for them to be interested in it. That's not what you're aiming to do. You're trying to find the people who are a fit. You're trying to find the people who are actually willing to buy your product. You're not trying to convince anybody of everything, but if they have a problem, you want to be able to fit into the slot where you can service that problem. So that's what you want to do. And so the big question is that if you are the expert, how are you capturing attention? If you are the expert, how are you capturing people's attention? What are you doing? What are the methods that you're doing? Do you have systems to do that? What are the tools that you're using to capture people's attention if you are in fact the expert at something? So if you're the expert at gardening, what are you doing to capture people's attention into that space of gardening so that you can have more customers? If you are the expert at doing something like engineering or fixing planes, what are you doing to capture people's attention into that space so that you could sell to them eventually? And that is the thing that is very important to think about, is that are you making the right efforts into the right space in order to capture the people's attention who you want to capture? And it's not about the noise of the internet. It's not about short attention spans. It's about being very specific and very targeted in the people who you want to speak to so that you can get more business, so that you can grow your business in a way that is beneficial to you, the people who you employ, to your family, and ultimately to your community and everybody around. Because it's really not a selfish pursuit. You really want to build yourself, but you want to build the people around you as well. And I would put forward that video is an excellent way to do that. Video is an excellent way to capture attention if you are an expert in the area that you are want to talk about. Whether that is an actual business, whether that is content creation, whether that may even be a hobby of sorts. But if it's really a business and it's something that you want to put effort into to make money, then you have to find the tools that will work for you. And I would put forward that video is an excellent tool, is an excellent way to do that. We could go into all the statistics about how video is effective and how is the tool that you need now for your marketing. But I would just say, think about it. Think about the last piece of content that you interacted with that you found that was really engaging. What was it? If it's a video, I want you to continue watching this live stream so that you can learn more about how to use that power for yourself. So let's move on. The problem with a lot of people who create videos is that they really don't know how to create a good video. They don't know how to create a good video. Let me slide in the middle here a little bit. I realize I'm off center. That they don't know how to create a good video. And there are a few reasons for this. There are some key reasons. There are many different reasons that it could be, but some of the key reasons for this are, first, the video fails because they try to say everything in one video, that they have so much things to say, they don't know what to say. They don't know how to choose topics. They don't know how to choose content pillars. They haven't designed a content strategy. They're very random with what they say. They try to pile a lot of different points inside of one video, and that makes the video very ineffective once they deliver it. All right, and that's not something that you want when you're doing your video. A video could also fail because, and in the same way, there's another way to say it, that you really say more than you need to. Some people try to say everything, and even when they cut it down, they still end up saying more than they need to. It's like the affliction of having too much knowledge, having too much to say, or they repeat the same things again and again. But the main thing I think is a problem with a lot of videos is that the message is not clear. People actually don't know what you're trying to say. They don't know what the point of the video is. They don't know what the point of the message is. So what you're trying to say is not clear. And here's the thing. If you are a business owner and you're making content for your business, you're making video for your business, having a clear message is really the most important thing that you can do. Having a clear message is really the most important thing that you can do. And that goes all the way back to your messaging. It goes all the way back to the type of content you want to create, the type of business you have, and you have to sort those things out. But if your message is not clear, then the people will not know who you are. They will not know what you're trying to help them with. They will not know any of those things. So in order to create effective videos, your message has to be clear. And I would say in order for your message to be clear, you have to work out your message, of course, your messaging and all those things surrounding that, the thing that you actually want to say to the people who are interested in your products and your services. But one of the key things that you can do, and the key ways you can fix this problem, is by just saying less. You don't have to say everything. You just need to say as much as you need to say to deliver the content inside of your video. You just need to say the thing that you need to say. You don't need to say more, and you don't need to say any less than that. But overall, you need to say less, right? And that is the thing that will allow your video to be more effective. That if you get to the point, if you have a clear message, if you don't waste words, that is the thing that will grab and keep people's attention. In addition to all of the structure of the videos that I will not talk about today, that's the thing that's very important for you to be able to convey what you want people to know and for them to buy into who you are and buy into your products and your services. So you need to be very clear, very concise, and you need to say less. So here are some questions that you should really ask yourself when you're creating the content. If you're creating content, if you're editing a video, if you've shot something, if it's your first time doing it, your second time doing it, and you shot something, you've created this long format video, or it may have been even a shorter video, and you have edited it, and it's ready to go, and you're going to post it, and you look at it. Here are some questions that you should immediately ask yourself when you're about to post that video. You should ask yourself, before creating and even after you've created it, what is the one thing that I want to say? What is the one thing that I want to say? When you're creating videos for social media, when you're creating videos for your content, inside of your content strategy, your digital marketing content, you do not want to have multiple messages in one video. You want to have one video, one clear point, one clear message. So if you're talking about how someone can save hundreds of dollars on the installation of their electrical units in their cars. That is one point. You would talk about that and talk about that only. You wouldn't talk about electrical installations, and you wouldn't talk about tires, and you wouldn't talk about how to fix your lights. You wouldn't talk about all those different things. You would talk about one thing. For example, again, if you have a business that is like say a bakery or a cosmetology school, let's go with cosmetology, and you were describing to the ladies how to get their smoky eyes right, and that's the focus of the video, how to get fantastic smoky eyes like X celebrity, and you would focus on that one thing. You wouldn't talk about smoky eyes, and then you talk about foundation and talk about a whole slew of other stuff. You need to focus on that one single thing. What is the one thing I want to say? What is the one point that people should take away when they leave? And actually, a good way to measure that is by saying, what should people be able to do when they leave, and what should people know when they leave? And those are two things you could ask yourself in addition to saying, what is the one point I want to make? Okay, let's go again. And you want to ask yourself this question too. How can I cut this down to the key message? How can I cut this down to the key message? When you determine that thing, the one thing that you want to deliver, you have to ask yourself, how can you cut this down to the key message? What can you snip off? What can you leave out? What sentences are being repeated? What are the things that you are seeing inside of your video that doesn't make sense to leave in? If you had said something at the beginning of the video, and then you go and you say something at the end of the video that is very similar, but it doesn't add to the emphasis, you would want to cut those things out. Obviously, there are some simple things that you need to cut out, like if you are stumbling over yourself, your ums and your ahs, and all those different things, you can cut those things out, fine, no problem. But then there's information inside of the video that does not add to the main point that you want to cut out. Because you have to ask yourself, what is the shortest time in which this main point can be made? What is the shortest time in which I can deliver this key message, this one point? And that is where the whole idea of doing shorter videos comes in. It's not because of the attention span. It's because you want to deliver the key message in the shortest time possible. Because we do have to acknowledge that there's a lot of content out there on the internet. There's a lot of choices. There's a lot of competition. And you want to be able to show this person who is watching your video, your customer, your potential customer, your audience, that you can deliver this very specific message in the shortest amount of time. And let me tell you why. Because if you take 10 minutes to deliver a 5-minute message and your competition delivers it in 5 minutes, then more than likely, if it's the same message, they will take time to look at your competition and not look at you. There are many other factors that determine that is inside of your video structure, but that's just a basic understanding of how that thing may work. That if you deliver the same message, you compress it down, they get the same value out of a shorter message than they could out of a longer message, then you are doing a lot better, right? You want to know what is the shortest time in which this thing can be said. It doesn't mean that you don't do longer videos. Longer videos definitely has a place, and longer videos are definitely needed, but you don't want to spend time saying something in 20 minutes that you could say in 10 minutes. You don't want to spend time saying something in an hour that you could say in half hour. You want to be as very clear, concise as possible. You want to deliver the message in the shortest time possible when you create your content, whether that is LinkedIn, whether that is YouTube, whether that is Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or any of the other popular video delivery platforms. You want to know that you're delivering the best message, the most valuable message in the shortest period of time. So you don't have to think about attention spans primarily. What you have to think about is, am I doing the best to deliver this message, the value to the people who are looking at it, to my potential customer, in the shortest period of time, in the shortest period of time. So it's very important to know that. And what are some of the things that you can do in order to cut the time down on your video? And what are some of the mistakes that people make that 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 they don't think are mistakes, but they might just be doing it because they haven't been trained in how to create a video, or they may be copying someone else, and that person themselves may not know what's the best way to create a video. What are some of the mistakes that people make that I could help you with and I could suggest right now? So let me tell you some things that people do, and mistakes that I have made as well in my beginnings as a video creator. That is very important to remember. So let me look at that right now. So the first thing you want to do, you don't want to do really, is you don't want to introduce yourself at the start. I remember when I first started creating videos on LinkedIn, I would always say, "Good morning, Juma here." Now, there was a purpose behind that because I was new to the platform and people did not know who I am. I felt it important to say my name and to be very personable. And also, my name is not usual, so I wanted to pronounce it over and over again so people would get it. And so I did that. I said, "Good morning, Juma here," hundreds of times in videos. But then there came a point when I didn't need to do that anymore, and that was just dead weight on the video, and I cut it all out. Now I do not introduce myself anymore. What I do is I took the focus off of me, and I put it onto the people. So I come into the videos and I say, "Welcome, useful content community," or "Welcome, useful content creators." I haven't called you all that yet, but that's something I'm thinking about. Welcome, useful content creators. And I put the emphasis on the people when I'm doing my introduction and not on me, because really it's about the people and not about yourself. They can learn your name later. It's not necessary to call your name over and over again. Now, an argument can be made for putting your name later in the video after you've already established that connection. So for example, what some people do is that they introduce the topic, they start to talk about it, and then they introduce themselves later on in the middle of the video, which can be an effective tactic if you do it in the right way, right? So don't introduce yourself at the start. The second thing that you don't want to do is don't repeat yourself. And let me actually explain what this means, because it is okay and it is good to repeat yourself, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to use repeating yourself as a filler. Repeating yourself must have a genuine purpose behind it. So you might say something, make a point, and you might want to re-emphasize that point later in the video, and you will repeat yourself. But if that point is not adding to the value of the entire video, you do not want to repeat yourself. You want to cut those things out. And sometimes when I edit my own videos, I get to a point where I'm looking at it and I'm realizing that I have said the same thing 3 or 4 times. And when I go back through and when I go back through and look at the video, I look at it and I say, well, I've said this thing 4 times. Does it really need to be in there 4 times? Do I really need to repeat this point 4 times? And as much as the point could be made without having to repeat, I cut that thing out. And sometimes it moves from four times being repeated to just being there once. Sometimes it moves from 4 times to just being there twice. But it's really dependent on whether or not I feel saying that thing over and over again in that particular video is necessary and supports the point that I'm making. Which brings me to another thing that is very important. Don't leave things in. Cut anything that doesn't make your point stronger. Anything that doesn't make your point stronger in the video, you cut it out. And argument can be made also for sometimes you're saying things that make the video lighter. You might make a small joke inside of there, which is good, and which is good for establishing community relationships. But when you're editing your video and you're delivering it to an audience who don't know you, you really do want to keep it to the core message. You really want to keep it to what is important to you. It's very, very, very important that you cut anything that does not make your point stronger. You cut anything that does not make your point stronger. Okay, the next thing that you want to do is that you want to listen to make sure your point is clear. So after you're finished shooting a video, you're editing a video, you want to listen back to it to make sure that your point is clear. You want to go back over your video, look at it, listen to it, and make sure that your point is actually very clear. Because if you listen back to your video and you yourself get lost inside of what you're trying to say, it's going to be clear to you that the message is not going to be delivered to the people who you want it to be delivered to. That is going to become very clear. And if it's not happening, then the video is actually pointless. If you're not delivering your message, the message that you want to deliver to the people who need to hear it, then the video is pointless. There's no need to make the video. Because a video for your business is not to say that I have content out there. A video is supposed to move action, to move people to action. Whether that action is, oh, I know this person a little better, let me log them inside my brain. Whether that action is, okay, I have this problem, this person seems to match with that problem. Or whether that final action is like, I'm going to call, email, message to get this person to come and solve this problem that I have. That is a final action you want them to take. And beyond that, you want them to repeat that action over and over again. And beyond that, you want them to tell their friends about how lovely their experience was, and that they will also take, and so they will encourage their friends to take a similar action to do business with you. But in order for that to happen, you have to make sure, listen again and make sure that your point is clear, so that the people who are actually, who you actually want to receive your message, that they get it. It's very important that that happens. Otherwise, you would have lost the whole point of having the video in the first place. So if it is not clear, cut some more. If your video is a minute and you can make it 30 seconds, not because of the attention span myth, because it only needs to be 30 seconds, then you cut some more. You listen to the words, listen to the phrasing, listen to the pacing of the video, listen to the spaces. And if you do not need to leave anything in there, you cut some more. Do not be afraid to cut your video down. The purpose for you cutting your video down is so that you can deliver a more precise, clearer message to your potential customers and to the audience that you want to speak to, not because of short attention spans. Forget short attention spans. Focus on how you can create a better message. Focus on how you can deliver a more clear, a more concise, a more targeted video that really speaks to the people, whether that is their issues, whether that is something that they want solved, whether it fills a knowledge gap, whatever it's supposed to do, it has to speak to them. And that is the way you do it. You cut the thing down so you get to the core of what you want to say, so that you're being ultra precise when you create your videos. The next thing is this, is that if you say less, you will keep people's attention. And that's the final thing I want to leave you all with. If you say less, you will keep people's attention. So in this kind of setup where everywhere you turn, people are talking about attention spans. They're talking about the myth of it. Why, make videos shorter. TikTok is the way to go. I'm on TikTok. I'm doing pretty well there. But I don't believe in the short video just because it's in vogue, it's in style. You believe in the short video because it has a purpose. Content must always have a purpose. And if you say less, you have to say less with a purpose. And if you say less, you have to say less to keep attention, build relationship with your customers, and build it in such a way that you will keep them as customers for a long period of time. And that's it, guys. Really happy to be with you all today. The reason, Tamara said good morning. Hi, Tamara. I didn't realize Tamara was saying good morning. Hi, Tamara. Good to see you. And that's it, guys. The reason I jumped on live this morning is because my editing software is giving so much issues right now. I can't use it, so I had to go live in order to create this video. Unusual, and it just so happens that I do have a Monday morning meeting this morning. My business partner is busy today, and we're not able to meet. So it was a good opportunity for me to run this. This was put together from bits and pieces that I had put down somewhere, content I had put down. And so I kind of put it together in a presentation format and decided to deliver it this morning. I hope it was useful. And I will see you all very, very soon. Bye, everyone.